Hear me loud and clear. My name is Chantell Disco. You probably thought I was in high school, but I'm a college student. You see, I decided to go to college because I grew up in foster care. And being in foster care, you're growing up in a world of statistics. Becoming a motivational speaker wasn't really an idea I had at all. I liked watching them. I thought at times when I needed encouragement, I would go onto YouTube and just looked up speakers. And then one day I stumbled upon kids speaking, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I was like, hey, that's cool. It was at a time a what if moment, but not really something that I really thought about. When I was born Chantell Monique Maldonado. When I was 1.5, my father took me in and I lived with him and my stepmom, my sister, and my brother. Things were good up until I was about 5 years old. When I was 5, they got divorced, and that's really when I started to move around a lot, been in different homes. I was placed into foster care when I was 8 years old. Between the ages of 5 and 8, I had pretty much been neglected, abused, abandoned. No one had care of me and everyone had care of me. I got adopted when I was 12 years old. That's kind of where a lot of my personal issues began. I guess you could say my inner demons. Leading up to that point, I kind of acted, I guess you could say the perfect kid because I wanted to have a family. But the day that I got adopted, I started to get really angry and really upset because I didn't understand what was going on in my life, and I was confused, so I got a lot of anger, and because of that, I got in a lot of trouble.
Why? Why do we strive to be ordinary when being ordinary is the only thing that stops us from being extraordinary?
Around 15, when I was placed, that was the last time I was placed in a psychiatric hospital. When I was getting out, I was told that I would not be going back home. And that's when I was placed back into foster care. Between 15 and 17, I was probably in 6 or 7 foster homes. That in my life was definitely the turning point, I guess you could say. It was one of the hardest times, but now that I look back, I think it was the best thing that could have happened to me, because up until that point, I wasn't willing to change and I wasn't ready to change. But I think when that happened, everything just hit me hard, I don't want my life to be like this, I want a family. I'm not a bad kid, I just have a lot of bad stuff going on.
I got adopted at the age of 12, but that's when my statistics really began. By the age of 13, I was one of the 45% of teens to be labeled trouble. I had run away from home. I had been in and out of hospitals and in and out of trouble with the cops. By the age of 14, I was one of the 35% of teens that tried to take my own life. Did you know that adoptees are 4 times more likely to try to commit suicide than non-adoptees? I was one of those statistics.
Each outcome, every yes, every no, every foster home led me to where I am, and I'm nowhere near perfect. I have far to go. But I don't think I would have walked on the New London Talent Show stage the day of the audition if I hadn't gone through that stuff. I probably wouldn't have even considered being a motivational speaker if I hadn't gone through anything. When I started speaking, I started healing from the past. For me, in order for me to heal, I had to share my story with somebody, let people know, this is what happened and I need to be heard.
That's when I became extraordinary. You see, because when I turned 16, I became a paid motivational speaker. When I turned 17, I'd started my own business. By the time I turned 18, I graduated high school. By the time I turned 19, I got my first job, I got my first apartment. And by the time I turned 20, I knew what it meant to be extraordinary.
Over time, it's more of come to, this is what happened, but I'm glad it's not what dictated who I became. I don't necessarily feel like I need to be heard anymore. I want other people to be heard. That's why I share my story. This is what happened to me, and you can be heard as well.
Now, I'm not telling you this story for your sympathy or your empathy, because I don't want it and I don't need it. I am telling you this story because everyone in here has at one point in their life felt like they don't fit in, like you're not normal, like you're not ordinary. That's okay. You're not meant to be ordinary.
As bad as things seem, there's always going to be something positive to come out of it. You just have to look for the positive. It's not going to show up, but you have to find the goodness in the bad. If you wait for it to happen, it's never going to happen. You have to, in order for you to follow your dreams, you have to push to get there. It's just like with the bad things. In order for something to not be so bad anymore, to not hurt it anymore, you have to find something that doesn't make it hurt. You have to find something that doesn't make it so bad. I think that's the most important thing with foster care and anything is, if you keep holding on to the bad stuff, it's just going to keep staying bad. But if you look for something good, that's when it starts to get good. That's when the bad doesn't seem as bad and the good just gets better.
We all have dreams bigger than ourselves, dreams of something better. You see, everything that makes you not ordinary, everything that isn't ordinary about you, that's what makes you extraordinary. We all have the potential to be amazing, so why would you want to be normal?